so close last year. It was right there. Epicenter was going to do it. Have you gotten over that? Will you ever get over that?
No, it's Epicenter coming into the last year's Derby, high point earner, favorite in the race. Joel gave him a great trip. 70 yards from the wire, you think it's just ideal, and ends up anything but, and that's over and done with. And we're very fortunate to be back here this year with another chance.
Did you ever consider that maybe we had a Samson situation? You cut the locks off, you had the long locks. Have you tried growing the hair back out?
If we try anything, hopefully it's just Disarm will make the difference for us.
Disarm ran third and most recently in the Lexington. Was there anything you saw from him out at Keeneland that thinks he can move forward here with the 1.25 miles?
Well, the Lexington was not on his schedule, but he would not have been able to participate in this year's Derby with the 40 points off his second place finish in the Louisiana Derby. Mm-hmm. With the change in the points, we're not going to get him in the Derby. And I was very concerned going into the Lexington, backing him up from 1 mile 3/16 to 1 mile 1/16. We were fortunate enough to get enough points to be in the Derby, and he's trained really well at Churchill since then.
Does he take to the course here? Does he seem to like it under the Twin Spires?
He does. He's been very focused training here, and I'm very encouraged by that. But 20 runners. The race seems to lack any real pace in it, so there will be quite a bit of congestion, and hopefully he'll come out on the right end of that.
You think that extra 16th in the Louisiana Derby can really benefit horses who are coming out here to try to go 1.25 miles for the first time?
From somebody who got run down the last 70 yards of the Derby, you better be able to do the whole 1.25 miles.
Yeah. Well, what is the? I know you don't want to let the playbook out on Disarm, but what kind of things would happen in the race that would tend to favor his racing style for him to have a shot to bring you one home?
Well, I think you need a clean break and a nice run to the first turn. I mean, very concerned about crowding and how much contact and how much that'll take out of everybody involved. And I think everybody it'll be necessary to get to the first turn without eliminating yourself.
Your son is now in the game riding horses for you, if I'm not mistaken, for some of the horses. So what's the father-son dynamic like when it's your horse and you better give him a good ride?
Yeah, I'm very difficult to ride for, but the amazing thing about riding Keith, me and Julie's oldest son, is the fact that he's used to me. My reactions to things don't shock him, so he takes it amazingly well, and it's great to see him have success, and I'm extremely proud of how good he is at it.
You more nervous watching him ride or watching one of your horses out here on Derby Day?
Anxious is what it is. I'm excited for him. You just how much he loves it and how good he is at it. It's proud in a different feeling than you are when you're running your own.
Best of luck this weekend, Steve.
Appreciate it. Need it.
So, Brad, you got 3 horses in the Oaks, 4 in the Derby. What's the mood like in the stable this week, getting ready for the race?
It's busy. I mean, we're obviously focused on the horses, and obviously there's more people back here than usual. But you're still working, so it's kind of business as usual, to be quite honest.
Wet Paint's going to be the favorite in the Oaks. You've got a lot of Oaks winners up here on the wall. What is she doing well that can kind of get her in that elite company with Montmorgure and She Dares the Devil?
Well, she's got to show up and run. I think she will. She's training like she's going to. But she's had 3 good works here since the Fantasy. I love the way she's moving, how she looks. She's got a great mind. She's able to take everything in well in the paddock, and she's just a classy filly. So I think that's probably her best attribute, is her ability to overcome things such as obviously running into a soft pace, being a closer. Obviously, if she gets a hot pace in front of her, it only helps her. So she's got a lot of things going for her.
It's not like your guys are good, but is there something about you and the girls that especially clicks?
Well, I mean, I think early on in your career when you start getting better horses, I think you tend to get fillies, and then when you kind of prove it, that you can do it at a top level with fillies, then you get the opportunity with colts, and that's what we've kind of seen over the last 3 or 4 years. We're getting, better colts. You can see it each year. I mean, the stock gets a little bit bigger, stronger, and, obviously it doesn't always mean they're fast, but the physicals get a little better, the pedigrees get a little better, and just very fortunate to be given the opportunity from great owners with great stock.
There's been some talk about Angel of Empire this week in training, performing well. It worked out pretty well for Mandaloun a few years back. What have you seen from Angel of Empire to think he'll move forward from Louisiana?
His breezes are a little more consistent here than they were maybe all winter. He's a touch inconsistent with his works throughout the winter, but he's really coming around. His works here have been, all of his works here at Churchill have been very, very good this spring. So, excited about, chance on Saturday. He drew well. We'll see how it goes.
Is there something about that extra 16th in Louisiana that can help him get that extra distance for a mile and a quarter?
Well, I think, either they're bred to do it or not. I think he does have a mile and a quarter pedigree and just his running style. He's another one with a great mind. He's able to, take everything in the paddock. When he ran in Arkansas, that's a huge crowd there. There's a lot going on, and he's able to, take it all in and perform well. And I think he's one that, from a mental standpoint, he should be able to handle, 150,000 people.
Right, out of all of your horses, who stood out to you the most?
I can't answer that. Now, look, they really have all had good last few weeks. I think, listen, Verifying's been very, very impressive of the mornings. He kind of reminds me a little bit more of Mandaloun from 2 years ago than anyone. But listen, we know these horses. We know how they work. We know what to expect from them, and they're all doing very, very well. Hit Show's doing great. We're very fortunate with our weather right now. We're getting cool mornings. It's not getting real warm of the day, and horses really enjoy that. It kind of, picks up their training. They're happy. They're just the ones our 4 colts are moving well. Our 3 fillies are moving well. So, things got to go right. Hopefully they get good trips in the race, and if they do, they'll be fine.
Verifying obviously has the pedigree that gets people excited, but obviously he's his own horse, real close in the bluegrass.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you think that he has a real shot here?
I loved him in the bluegrass. I thought Turn for Home we had it. He fought on well. I was very proud of the effort. He galloped out on even terms with Tapit Trice. So, I think he's a horse. Even though he's had 6 runs under his belt, I do think he's got another move forward. I really do believe that. He's a smart horse. He's a very good-looking horse from a physical standpoint, and I think that, if he does take that step forward, there's no doubt he could be right there.
Do you have to coach up your riders any different on Hit Show and Verifying with those inside post positions?
No. Me trying to can't tell those guys how to ride a horse. They're seasoned riders. They've, won grade 1s. They're world-class jocks, and the Kentucky Derby is 20 horses. Like, you can get a bad trip from anywhere, right? You don't necessarily have to have the one hole. The starting gate, it is a new starting gate. They've had it in play for the last 2 or 3 derbies. I think it's a good thing. Ultimately they gotta get a good trip from down in there. I think it's possible. We'll see how it works out.
Appreciate it, Brad.
Thanks.
Good luck this weekend, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.